Hey, so it looks like we have a freeze. I don't know if my internet's gonna come back or not, but we gotta wait a little bit for us to work itself out. I'm gonna try clicking on something. Alright, so it looks like I'm just getting a lot of lag when it comes to video. And changing things around. We're gonna just go ahead and get started and see what happens. If there's too much lag, then we might have to switch up what platform I'm using, at least for tonight. But hello and welcome everyone to another art stream, chilling with Mega. My name is Mega, aka the Art Messiah. I'm here to save you from your art sins. This is not so much a video tutorial as it is just me working on some artwork, and I'm trying to create some products for a convention that I'm trying to go to in a couple months. And pretty much to get a table at it, you have to submit a portfolio, and the portfolio has to include different things you're going to sell. And so I decided I would try to turn some of the artwork that I have into stickers. Okay, so I think the lag is decreasing just a little bit. Wonder if I can switch my frame rate in the middle of streaming. And also my quality. For those of you that can't hear me, let me know if the video is really choppy, and let me know if the audio is really choppy in the chat box so I can know if I need to troubleshoot stuff. Also let me know if the music's too loud or if I'm not loud enough on the microphone. Just let me know kind of how we're doing right now. So once we kind of get into the swing of things, I am going to try streaming it on Instagram simultaneously, but we're going to give that a little bit of time. So welcome everyone. Since I'm testing stuff out, I'm going to go ahead and test out the lag right now and see if I can if I'll even be able to draw anything today. Okay, so yeah, I guess I'll keep on kind of explaining what it is that I will be doing today. It's really going to be a chill session. It's not so much on the tutorial heavy side. It's just if you guys want to chill and draw along, or just see me draw, this is pretty much what it's going to be for. I'm going to try drawing some skating poses because I'm still trying to work out my style. Then I'm also going to try to figure out this halftone effect for the stickers. So we're going to mess around with that. We're going to kind of learn this together. So, you know, if you guys have some tips and tricks, then you guys can always let me know too. But let's go ahead and let me grab a brush and see if I'm going to be able to do any drawing today. Let me see how laggy this is. Okay, it's not horrible. It's not the best, but I think we will be able to at least do a little bit of drawing. And that's, you know, just pretty much the goal. Gonna be keeping it simple. I'm gonna close out of this web browser for now, so hopefully I can gain a little bit more speed here. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna jump to is actually doing some sticker creation, and we're working with halftones right now. So I am going to just explain what I've done so far and give you guys some tips and tricks, and then also I'm just going to be experimenting with color and all kinds of things for right now. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue to work on this. Let me save this document. That's on hard mix too. It's on normal. It's on normal. Okay. Let's go ahead and group these up together. Alright, so this is what it looks like without any halftone effects, and this is what it does with the halftone effects. I kind of like halftones because they just give some like texture. Pretty much they give like some texture to the piece, and I like adding texture to my artwork. So this is what I currently have, what I'm currently working with. However, I do want to just try different ways of creating the halftones. This was done with a brush, and now I want to try out basically Photoshop's filters for doing it. So I guess kind of just join me as I mess around and experiment with this. As always, if you guys have questions or things that you want to talk about, then leave it in the chat box and I can answer questions as I'm going through this process. But yeah, hopefully this stuff will be helpful to you guys and you'll gain something from it. Okay, so this is my color group. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my color group and I'm going to duplicate that group. I know you guys can't see what I'm doing over here in the layers panel, but I'm just merging all my colors together into one color group. Okay, with those colors merged, all right, we're gonna try applying a filter to them. Okay, let me label this halftones. Okay, and then we're going to get rid of these halftones I tried, and let's try a different approach. So we're gonna click on that layer, we go up to the top, we're gonna go to select filter, and we're gonna start with the Pixelate. Let's see if the options show up. They don't. Okay, we're gonna go into Pixelate and we're gonna go into color halftone, and we're just gonna click OK on the basic just to see what we're kind of dealing with so far. Okay, so those dots are way too big, so we're gonna go ahead and undo that, and we're gonna go to filter, Pixelate. Still gonna use color halftone for right now. Actually, I wonder if there's a better way of doing this. Filter. Let's go into the filter gallery, because I think we'll be able to get a live view of what we're doing. Okay, let's go into texture. Let's go into stylize. Let's see. Let's just open all of them up and see what we have here. Alright, there's a bun that's a halftone pattern. That's kind of interesting. Let's click on the grain one. Let's click on the grain and let's go into halftone pattern. Oh, it just switches to that. Okay, no problem. Let's just click OK for now. There's something that I want to check in on. So let's go into the different blending modes now that we've done that. So right now we're going through the different blending modes on this layer to see if we can get an interesting combination. Okay, let's just put on hard mix for now, and let's decrease this opacity just to see what kind of effect we get. That's a little bit interesting, but that's not the style I'm going for. So I have a question for you guys. When you are doing digital art, do you like adding texture into your digital art so it makes it feel more traditional? Or do you guys like it to be digital art and to be really smooth and not actually have some of that texture? Let me know. Alright, I do see a question coming in. I am going to answer it. Just give me a second. Alright. So there is a question from Ennius23. They said, hello, my question is not exactly about the subject of live. In this case, how to draw the human body in any perspective. Already seen how to draw by top and bottom view. So I imagine you're talking about, okay, what about 3/4? 3/4 from like above, 3/4 from below, all that kind of good stuff. So drawing the human body in perspective is challenging. So I think there's a couple of different ways to approach this question. And I don't know, I guess I'll just give my best attempt of what I would potentially do and focus on for practicing drawing the human body from all these different perspectives. Okay, so first off, I guess, is that the body can be in so many different poses and so many different angles, and that can make it challenging to just have like, okay, I drew something in this one pose from this one angle, this one perspective, so therefore I know how to draw it in all these perspectives. Really, when it comes down to is that you need a lot of repetition in drawing the body in just a whole bunch of different poses. So let me just take, for example, even if you're drawing the character head on, the character can extend their arm forward towards you, right? And so then that is introducing perspective. That's introducing some one-point perspective. And even though it's a head-on shot, it could be kind of difficult to understand, like, you know, what the perspective is doing for each individual body part. So really, to kind of simplify down this problem, the best way I've found is that if you know the perspective of the scene, then create a box that is in perspective that is going to represent pretty much the overall form of the body, but when it comes down to actually drawing through the pose and everything that needs to be there for the pose, you're really going to need to just have a lot of experience drawing a human body in different poses and in different angles. So what I encourage you to do is actually to do two things. One, either go onto like Pinterest and find action shots of people playing sports or dancing, whatever the case may be, and draw from that, break down the body into the basic shapes and see how those shapes are following perspective, and that's going to just give you a better idea of how form works. And the second thing that I'm going to recommend is actually going to go to like YouTube videos and find YouTube videos of really dynamic shots of people in action, where the cameraman is actually getting the action from different angles, so that way you can see different perspectives. And instead of just drawing that pose, if you're really trying to understand how to draw the pose within an environment and a background, then first lay down the perspective of the background, the ground plane, the horizon line, and then plot out how you draw the figure on top of it. Because if you can do that, if you can break down a picture and kind of learn how to draw the perspective in that picture and that person in that pose, with that kind of background, you know how to break it down, and you can do that from a picture, then it's going to be slightly more attainable to do it from your imagination, because you'll be able to imagine this scene in your head. You'll be able to break that scene down into the correct perspective, or something close at least, and to start kind of like hashing it out. So honestly, that's what I would kind of recommend. Just to start moving on beyond the basics, because I did have a video that was from the top view and from the bottom view, and that's really, it's kind of like the beginner, not beginner, it's kind of the beginning of how to draw stuff in perspective, because it's basically giving you all the concepts you need, the concepts of foreshortening, the concepts of overlap, the concept of also pushing things to the extreme. When I drew those perspective shots, they were extreme angles, and so you're basically kind of expanding your mental library of how the human figure looks in different positions. So the next thing I encourage you to do is, in that video I shared a program called, I think it's called like Magic Poser. Go into that same program, and instead of just doing it at that exact angle that I show, turn that model, put your camera down on the ground and look up at that model and get a different view. And almost, you can even do this for just different rotations that are in even iterations going around the figure, and basically that'll give you a chance to see what's going on there. And if you draw over it, then you're going to understand, okay, what the body looks like from the front, at the bottom, the front, a little bit to the right, to the left, or whatever the case may be. So that's going to give you a lot of practice and experience that'll allow you to basically be able to do it a little bit better from imagination. Okay, so I don't know, hopefully that was somewhat helpful. I know I kind of wandered around a little bit, but that's just kind of how these streams go. I'm trying to do, like, you know, more than one thing at once. Okay, so for those of you that are joining in on Instagram, I'm actually streaming to YouTube as well right now. So there's two different audiences going all at once. Today we're just working on some stickers, because I want to create some stickers. Yeah, I can save this video secondary lines. Basically, I want to create some stickers because I want to table at a convention, and they're asking that I have some product to go. You know what I mean? So I want to make sure I do have some stuff going on. Yeah, no problem, 23. I think I myself am not a master at it, but it takes practice in putting the human body together over and over. But I do think that's a really good start, and I learned a lot by just taking a 3D model and rotating it around. And you will, I know you'll stumble into this. You'll see something, and you'll go to draw it, but as you're drawing it, you'll realize that it looks way different than what you would have thought in your mind. Like an arm will look really different in perspective than it does normally. And so it's good to make mental notes while you're going through and drawing stuff like that. To, you know, just like how it differed from what you would expect it to look like, you know. And what you can additionally do is you can try drawing it from your imagination first, and then tracing it over and seeing how far you were off. That's always a good practice. And you could also draw, not tracing, but draw what you see and see how close you get, and then actually trace over the image and then compare both of your constructions together and see where you're off and why you're off and why you made some wrong assumptions about, you know, how the human body looked. Okay, so I don't know, the soft tone pattern looks decently interesting. I don't know if I'm gonna necessarily stick with it or anything like that, but I just wanted to try it out, see what it kind of looks like. Okay, and then maybe I will just kind of erase some of it out. I don't know. We're just gonna keep it like that for a little bit. We're just experimenting. That's what drawing is all about. Trying something, seeing if you like it, and then trying something different. Okay, so we're gonna do another color copy. We're gonna duplicate this group again. We're gonna try a different way to do the halftones. And again, I'm gonna do this quite a few times just because I'm trying to really get this effect. And if you guys know how to get this effect and make it look really good, let me know. I really like the halftone effect. When I see artists implement it, I'm always like, oh, I need to figure out how to do that. So today we're figuring out how we do it. Okay, so this time we're gonna go back to this color halftone option here. We're gonna make the max radius like really small though. We're gonna make it that like 1, and just to see what it looks like. We have to do 4 minimal. Let's see. Okay, so that's interesting. Let's see what happens if we do some different layer options. Alright, we're just experimenting. That's a lot of what drawing is. It's just experimenting. You don't know if something's gonna work until you try it. And so you try a whole bunch of different things over and over again. That is interesting. I can't say it's exactly what I want, but I kind of think the texture is interesting, so why don't we use a little bit of that just for right now, and that kind of gives it some grain effect. Okay, so now you're coming up with different options for halftones. Okay, so let's come back to here. I think this is still my favorite halftone option so far, but that that does not mean we're gonna stop there. It doesn't mean we're not gonna try other options as well. Okay. Let's duplicate this group again. Merge this group down. Let's go into filter. Let's click on add noise. Let's see what adding noise does. Just gonna change the amount. Makes it more textured. Hey Yeek Reacts, welcome to the live stream. We're just messing around for now. This is my first time actually trying to get this going on Instagram Live. I'm gonna have to change my setup, I'm realizing, a little bit, because I'm getting a little bit too much wobble for the phone. So we'll fix that for next time. Okay. So you guys probably want to see some drawing too. So I am going to do some drawing, but I do want to try a thing or two more with these half tones before I do that. Because they're not quite blending how I want them to. Alright, so let's try. Let's actually look up a tutorial real quick. I was watching a tutorial earlier today. Okay. I was looking at some different options for creating screen tones. Looks like something I'll have to probably download, which I don't know if I want to do at this moment in time. Let's see. So that had a minimal shake reduction, render, pixelate. Let's see, what is pointillize? What does pointillize look like? Nope, don't like it. Filter. Okay, so I think, honestly, if I were to suggest any one thing, I would suggest making your halftone width. Let's see, sorry, the filter, if you go into the filter gallery, this has just been the best effect I found so far within Photoshop. Is to use a halftone pattern that they have, and yeah. What happens if we reduce the contrast? Okay, so that's kind of interesting. And I'm just curious if we can reduce the size past 1, which I don't know if we can. Okay, we have to at least keep it 1. Okay, reduce the contrast down to 0, size to 1. I think this is gonna allow for this color to come through more when I use a blending mode on it. Like, I'm not gonna lose that. But I'm thinking about this more, trying to figure out the best approach to this. I probably want to set it to something like color, so the color shows through. No, that didn't actually work out. Setting it to pin light is interesting. Trying to make sure the color doesn't change too much, because we like the colors that we put down. So far, lighten and pin light looked the most decent. Again, this is the art process. Just trial and error until you find something that you like. I'm gonna go with pin light for right now. We're gonna go with pin light, and we're gonna click Control U, and we're gonna colorize this. We're gonna colorize the dots. Okay, I like where I was at 318. And we started with 25. Let's see what happens when we saturate it. Looks weird if we saturate it too much. Not too much saturation. So we're gonna put this down to 25. What happens when we change the lightness? We're gonna keep that at 0. Okay, so this is a very subtle effect, which may be what I want for now. Okay, I'm gonna stick with this for now. Sorry for the zooming out and in. I like to get like what it looks like both out and in, And I think we've got some interesting texture kind of coming in here now. Now, if I switch this is at what, 52%? Huh, didn't realize that. Okay, so I can make it more stark, but I can also leave it at 52%. Let's leave it at 52%. Let's duplicate this layer. Bring that up to 100. I think that's too stark. So we will leave it at the 52% like that. And another option for adding in some halftone is to add it in as lines. So what we're gonna do really quickly is we're gonna come to this layer. This is on hard mix. We're gonna turn it to normal for just a second and turn it to 100%. And we need to grab the color, so that way we can replicate this, but with a different kind of brush. Okay, so we're gonna turn this back down into the hard mix. Zoom back out and change this back down to 52%. I'm gonna change this to hard mix, and we're gonna take, let's try this brush. Okay. And we're gonna change this down to 50%. Right. Okay. So it messed with the color balance, right? I think color burn is an interesting choice. I'm not going to stick with it necessarily, but I can't say this enough. We're learning. This is a learning process. All right. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit so you guys can see a little bit better what we're doing here. By the way, for these live streams, since they are so chill, they're not necessarily so directed, I am going to be putting these for just like only like private view, or you have to have the link to view it, and I'll probably put the links on my Patreon or something like that, or you guys can still see it, but that way it doesn't clutter up my channel. And if people, let's see what this kind of looks like. That's interesting. When people are coming to my channel, they are not necessarily just seeing a whole bunch of live streams. They actually get to see the actual tutorial content that I have made. Okay, so I still think hard mix keeps the colors that I want. And I'm gonna have to go with these two texture brushes for being my go-to right now. I just think it is changing the color of the overall piece. Okay, so we're gonna try something. We're gonna try making this grayscale to see if that's the reason that the color is changing. So this is how we're gonna do this experiment. We're gonna duplicate both of these layers. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and hide those. I'm gonna go into my hue saturation tab and take off the saturation, bring it all the way to 0. We're gonna do the same thing with this one. We're gonna bring it all the way to 0. Okay, and I just want to see if this affects the color still. Alright, so yo, what's up, Shinx? We're trying to figure out how to do halftones and screen tones and that kind of thing right now. You might not be able to see it all that well on Instagram, but there is a lot of tiny dots and lines going on here. Yeah, basically the goal was trying to find the easiest way to have some halftone effects and then come in and erase it where I don't want the halftone effects to be. And trying some of the Photoshop filters was okay, but not necessarily the best. So I'm still experimenting around a little bit. Okay, so I think I'm gonna leave this for what it is for right now. But I'm also going to change my lighting real quick. Turn lights white. Turn lights turquoise. We got some better lighting going on here while we're having our little creative session. Give me 1 minute. All right. For the people on YouTube, I'm currently moving my phone camera for where I was live streaming. It was shaking too much, so we're gonna just move this over to a different location really quickly. But let me know what you guys want to talk about, want to see. Okay, here's a piece that I was working on the other day, just working on style stuff. So sometimes I'm like studying anatomy, some days I'm working on style, you know, it just kind of depends on what kind of day it is, what it is that I want to work on. That's really important, guys. Before you guys even start, working on a piece, just like think to yourself, like, what am I currently getting inspired by, and like why is that inspiring me right now? So I got this little gooseneck today, and it's a tablet holder and like a phone holder. That's what it's supposed to be, at least. right? And I'm trying to use it to it's not working. So that I can start streaming on Instagram, so that I can hold up my phone. So I can hold my phone and, you know, actually have a stand for it, because I didn't have a stand for it before, so I can never stream to Instagram for that reason. So I may do more of that in the future, I may not. Today is really just experimenting with things, so I do apologize for that if it seems a little slow. It's gonna be a slow night. I'm gonna go to like maybe 10 o'clock or something like that, right? And we're gonna do a little bit of drawing, just not that much. Tonight's more about just getting some stuff figured out for real. And that's kind of hard to do on stream. I just kind of like constantly feel bad, like I should be talking about like more important things, I guess, or like stuff that's gonna be really helpful for you guys. But this is truly just a chill stream for people that may want to just join and draw along, whatever the case may be. Okay, that's enough messing with the stand. It didn't really work out how I wanted it to. I'm going to just put it away for now. Try it again some other day. Okay. I think I'm just gonna do a quick head sketch really quickly, and we're gonna try implementing this kind of like half tone. I can't talk. Half tone kind of style, and just kind of experiment with it a little bit. Okay, so just go ahead and just grab a brush here. This is a brush that I've made, and I don't know, I like sketching with it. I like doing my initial sketches with it, I should say. Okay, so again, I've done how to draw the face videos, but right now I'm just thinking about big forms and the placement of things, not getting the details, just getting the proportions right now. Okay, so let's go ahead and dash in some proportions, and I am trying to get better with likeness, but that's not my main objective for right now. My main objective right now is more so to get style down, because I'm creating all these pieces for the table, and so I need to figure out how I'm gonna stand out in a crowd. So we're gonna work on that, and that's what we're mostly focused on / worried about. Okay, so we're gonna cut into here like this. She does have her shoulder right there, but we're not even gonna draw that for right now. Okay. Alright, do you guys have any questions about drawing? questions about life. I'm just kidding. You guys can just sit and chill and watch. But if you do have something to say, feel free to share. Okay, so now I'm switching over into my ink pen. I'm gonna reduce the flow a little bit and definitely reduce the size. So these days I'm working kind of small, which is typically not necessarily like a really good thing to do, but I'm just finding it easier to you know, like quickly get stuff down. And not only that, when I do streams, guys, if I'm working with a high resolution, the stream slows all the way down. Okay, so if I draw in small sizes like this, then my computer can actually kind of keep up with it a little bit better. So that's kind of also another reason. And an additional reason is that you know, you should kind of you shouldn't work zoomed in, and you shouldn't be scared to put a line down. Don't work zoomed in and put the lines down quickly, so that way you know what you need to erase and what you need to fix. Okay, if there's no lines down on the paper, you don't know what you did wrong, because guess what, you don't have anything yet. So just, especially when the drawing is just starting, really quickly get through some lines, right, just to start building that form up. And then from there you actually have something to say, oh well, I did this and this wrong, okay, let me erase this line, add this line here, you know, whatever the case may be. You're gonna have something to go off of, rather than just being like, man, I can't even start because it's gonna turn out bad. It's like, that's the point. You need to start and make those mistakes so you know how to correct them, right? And that's just how it works. You just have to get started. For me, that's usually the most challenging part, is kind of just getting the drawing started. And then once I get over that little like hump, I guess, then it's like I just find a flow, and I'm just like kind of in the zone a little bit, especially when I got music on like this. And you know, typically I'll listen to other things too. The reason that you guys always hear like this chill hop stuff is because you get striked with copyright stuff if you use like other songs. And so I just signed up with chill hop, and then I can use their music and I don't get dinged, and I can actually have my video and you guys can actually watch me draw without me getting dinged. So yeah, but whatever music gets you guys in the zone and the vibe to draw what it is that you want to draw, listen to that kind of music, okay? You know, for things heavy metal, listen to some heavy metal. And sometimes I'll change up the music based on like what type of character it is that I'm drawing, or what kind of environment I'm drawing. If it's something relaxing, I'm gonna put on some relaxing music. If it's meant to be really like aggressive and emotional stuff, you know, I'll put on some like, you know, scream or heavy metal or whatever, you know. Whatever gets you in the kind of vibe of the piece that you're working on, it's gonna help you put the emotion in that piece, because you're kind of already in that mind state. You already know how it feels, and so everything's going to be informed by that. Okay, so that's how I'm just being loose with it. None of these lines have to be perfect, because look, I can come back and erase. You know, don't get stuck with the undo. Some people are like, They keep on undoing until they get the perfect line. No, make the imperfect line and just erase it and draw it again. You know? Because sometimes you come back to that line later. You'll draw a whole bunch of lines, right? And if you keep on doing undo, you get stuck at one line. No, draw one line. Okay, move on to this next line. Okay, move on to this next line. You move on to this next line, right? Keep going around the piece. And then you can come back and be like, you know what? This right here, this needs to be erased. This needs to be erased. Try not to focus on just one part of the piece. Because, you know, you're going to get lost in just working on that detail. And you're going to miss the big picture. And the big picture is always the most important, right? Your shapes and forms do read is an interesting subject matter, you know, all that kind of stuff. So definitely do not neglect that as they're coming through here with this process, right? Don't ever feel like something's too perfect where you can't erase it as well. That'll help you loosen up and draw quicker. That was one of the hardest things I had to get rid of when I was learning to draw, is kind of that perfectionist mindset. And that is going to destroy your time drawing. Because you're going to be so focused on this little tiny detail, and then at the end of the day it doesn't matter because the big picture does not look good. So try to get rid of that perfectionist mindset until like the very end when you're cleaning stuff up, and even then you don't have to clean it up too much. Sometimes if the artwork's too clean, then it loses a little bit of its personality that you had as you were going through it and being loose with it, right? Welcome. Today we're just chilling and drawing and trying to create some art for a I guess kind of like a comic convention, right? So welcome. Have any of you guys ever tabled before? Have any of you guys ever sold a piece of artwork? I did commissions for a little bit in college, but it was time consuming, and I was in college for engineering, so that did not last long. But how about you guys? Alright, before I ask that, have any of you guys been to a comic convention? How many of you guys have been to a comic convention? so you guys can see better. So at this point, I'm probably just gonna not look at the picture too much, because I got the basics of what's happening in it, and now I get to modify it and just do whatever I want with it, really. That's the thing with art. You don't have to get trapped in just following exactly what you see. You can start using it as a guide, right? And it's actually a little bit more enjoyable because it's a little bit more free form. And it's like, you're not just like making a copy of something, you're creating something, you know, that's got some originality to it. Let's get into here. Let's get into our eraser. Alright. Easy does it. So honestly, I'm working really zoomed in right now. Well, it feels that way to me. And the only reason I'm doing it is for you guys, so you can kind of see a little bit more clearly what I'm working on. But normally I am way more zoomed out than this, and I'm quickly putting down lines. And I kind of recommend you guys kind of do that with your art. Okay. Alright, let me work on this here a little bit. Okay, so I don't know if you guys mind if I go silent, but I am gonna go silent, and really for the rest of this session, yeah, I guess for the next 15 minutes, I'm not gonna try to talk and draw at the same time. I'm just gonna focus on just creating a style and effect and all kinds of stuff. So if I'm not talking, that's why. I'll go ahead and put in the chat as well. This is kind of like the focus mode, so to speak. You guys can always ask questions, and I'll probably answer them before the end of the 15 minutes is up, but just letting you know. And I'll put in the chat too. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn off my mic for a little bit and just sit back and enjoy the music, or you can take a break, whatever you want to do. But yeah. Hey everyone, I'm back. Just with a few final words. Hopefully you guys kind of enjoyed seeing some of that process of me just painting. And I just wanted to point out there at the end, just kind of experimenting with color a little bit. There's something that I learned the other day, which basically was saying that color likes to play in the shadows, meaning that in your shadows, try to diversify what colors are going on in there. And the reason is because oftentimes in the shadows, you're going to have reflected light that's kind of coming back and bouncing and hitting that shadow. So for example, you have a really strong light shining on a ball on the ground. The light hits the ball, right, and creates a shadow, but that light goes forward more and hits other objects, and those objects reflect the light back, and they reflect the light back up into those shadows, and so you get different colors going on. So I try to add a little bit of that to this painting piece. I wanted to keep it simple, but play a little bit with those colors in there. So yeah, something you guys can try out too if you want to. But yeah, I changed a lot of the colors from the original piece that I was working off of, and this is just, you know, me putting my style on it and experimenting a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and call it quits for today. I do want to still mess around with the halftones and everything like that, but I'm gonna do that just on my own time as I probably watch some anime and stuff. But yeah, I did want to let you guys know that there is videos on the way. Just, you know, been enjoying summer break a little bit and traveling and working. You know, it's just been really busy, so I haven't been able to get around to it. But, you know, just figured I would do a live stream so people know that I am, you know, still drawing, still working on stuff, and I'm gearing up to be at an anime convention in a couple of months. So super excited and super nervous about that and how that might pan out, but either way, got to create art for it. So thanks to everyone for sticking around and watching from Instagram to YouTube. Really appreciate it and appreciate the comments. So yeah, until next time, take it easy, keep drawing, keep having fun with it, and I'll be coming out with some more art videos in the future, so stay tuned. And until next time, until next live stream, we'll catch you guys around. Alright, peace.